Hello and welcome to Silver Wheel Tarot. Today I'm going to do another deep dive video into the Celtic Cross. So this is a new series I've started. I've wanted for a long time to really do a thorough study of the Celtic Cross, the different variations out there, how they differ, find out which ones maybe are preferable to others, or come up with an all new one at the end. Who knows? We shall see. This is the second video in the series. So the first one I did was the Celtic Cross from the Tarot of Dragons. So if you're interested in that, you can check my playlist. It'll be there. This one here today is from the Wild Unknown Tarot. So as you can see, I've opted to use that deck as well. This is one of the very first versions that I really got into with this spread. It is the most simplistic version of this spread that I have seen. So before I go much further on that, I'm going to go ahead and lay out the cards. But before I do, the question we're going to be asking today is, we're going to use the card number 1 position statement, which is heart of the matter. So we're going to turn that into a question, since there really is no significator in this version of the Celtic Cross. And it's a very good version for overall arching themes of things. So if you want to think in your mind something that has been on your mind a lot recently, or an issue that you have been having that you'd really like to get to the heart of the matter to, I'm going to ask spirit guides assistance in pulling in a reading here that is very good for overall general reading that can basically help the masses, everyone out there, the collective, with answering that question. What is the heart of the matter? So not only is card number 1 going to state what the heart of the matter is, but it is also going to dive deep into that question. Okay, and since this is a study of the spread, I'm going to go ahead and lay out the cards. I will explain the layout from this book, this version, for you, and then we'll dive into the cards from there. So I am staggering this last row because even with my camera up as high as it will go, it is a very tight squeeze with this tarot deck because the cards are a bit large. Okay, so let's first take a look at the spread. As we saw with the last one I did, I explained that all the different versions tend to lay these 4 cards out a little bit differently. I believe the last spread laid card 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6. This spread has them numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is the way I've laid them down. And then of course 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and show you in the book, since it's very simple, an image of it really quick. And I'll read this paragraph here for you, but it doesn't really give any instruction. It simply states that the Celtic Cross is a favorite among psychics. When you go for a reading, it's likely you'll use some variation of this spread. It's popular because it's thorough. It addresses all aspects of your question. For this reason, it can be quite overwhelming to read at first. Don't get discouraged. Sit for a while and let the cards sink in. Take notes, take pictures to look back on. Once the Celtic Cross becomes easier for you to decipher, try playing with slight variations until you find one that feels right to you. So I do love that it's a bit of a guidance on learning the spread, but it doesn't really give instructions. So we have no time frame of what the spread covers. So you would have to select that on your own, or determine if a time frame is involved at all. We're going to say within the next month. I like to use a 1-month time frame most of the time, I found, with Celtic Crosses, if it doesn't specify time. So we're going to say that this is the heart of the matter and kind of what's going to be laid out within the next up to a month at the most. It could be less. We'll see what the cards say, but we're going to put a cap on it. There is no significator. We're not going to use a significator. Card number 1 is Heart of the Matter. Again, we're turning that into the question. What is the heart of the matter? So think in your heart what your question is, or what the issue is that has been heavy on your mind that you would like some more insight onto. And that's what the answer in the reading is going to cover for you. Okay, the other thing I love about this spread for learning, especially when you're first learning Celtic Cross, is it's like 1 to 2, very simple statements instead of big long questions. It really simplifies it. It doesn't really leave much room to overthink, unless, like me, you like to analyze everything and you overthink it half the time anyways, and then have to deconstruct it and simplify it later. Anyways, we'll go through and I'll read these to you. So card number 1 is Heart of the Matter. Card number 2 is Opposing Factors, so opposition. Card number 3 is Root Cause. I actually quite like that in this spread, honestly, compared to some of the other spreads. Use of this position. The Past, the Goal. A lot of other spreads use this as the immediate future. This one is the goal, and this is just flat out the future. Here we have You, External Influences. It does not specify in this deck that it is people. It just simply says external influences, so it really leaves it wide open. It could be anything that is not you. Hopes and Fears, Final Outcome. I will say, in my experience in using this version of the Celtic Cross, that I know that some people don't love this hopes and fears section, maybe because it leaves it one or the other. But I have actually had quite a bit of experience of having this card be a positive card, like maybe a Wheel of Fortune or something, but it actually reads through as a fear instead of a hope. Really kind of just an interesting side experience that I've had with this spread. So I do have different experiences with the different Celtic Crosses with the slight variations, which is another reason why I really want to dive into these, because they're so similar and there are so many versions out there, yet I get a profoundly different reading from them. So now that we've kind of laid the map for what we have, what else? The first spread I did from the Tarot of Dragons, for the first time I saw in a deck, it actually had you look at the cards as a whole first to get the big picture before looking at the individual cards. That is the first time I've done that. It was helpful, a bit challenging, but I still ended up looking at it as a whole afterwards. Since this spread doesn't specify that, and my go-to is typically to look at the cards one at a time and then as a whole, that's what I'm going to opt for here. Let me know what you think down in the comments, though, as we go through and do more spreads and study these layouts and how they read. Let me know if you prefer to look at all the cards at once first, because we can certainly add that in if the spread doesn't dictate or specify exactly a method to do it. If the deck or the spread that we're looking at specifies, I do want to follow that since it is a study and I want to see what the spread does. But this version, very simplified, leaves it wide open for you to really work with it how you want to. So I love that about this version. Okay, Spirit, what is the heart of the matter? What is this reading about? Father of Wands. Well, we have very active energy here. The type of snake on the image, I do believe that kind of looks like a cobra, maybe. It's a very poisonous snake with the lightning here as well, it's got a very aggressive feel to the card. But with this singular wand, the way that the snake is leaning on it gives me also this weird sense of grounding within a fire energy. And the snake is coiled down with a lifting up and a coming down of the lightning. I'm seeing patterns here as well, maybe a disruption in the pattern of things. Perhaps the situation that you've been in, whatever is heavy on your mind, it is something that you have tried to gain stability and control in through creating structure and pattern. Yet the situation still feels quite volatile to you. And even in doing so, creating this structure and the pattern to create a sense of stability, you have these external forces, this lightning coming in, threatening to disrupt it. And it's actually a very transformative time for you with the snake here. I'm getting that it could feel very volatile and that you could feel vulnerable despite the amount of stability you've tried to create and structure around the situation. But with the lightning coming in, that external influence on this very fiery energy, it is reminding me of the Tower card in the sense of also there needing to be some sort of destruction or disruption. I'm getting here. It's more of a disruption, not as much of a destruction like the Tower card, but it's a disruption. It's a very similar energy. In order to create change. Now, the stability that you have been trying to create and this structured environment to help you feel a little bit grounded is okay. And it is probably going to help you stay stable. The snake is leaning against that wand here. And while it will help, it's not going to get rid of the disruption. You have to find a way through this disruption, this turmoil, this tough situation, whatever it is not going away. But what I'm finding in this card here is that it's the snake being the Father of Wands, is that this is happening for a purpose for you, whether you can see it now or not. This situation is very much a life lesson or something that has to happen that you need to go through to grow in a certain way, or for things to line up for you, or a disruption that has to happen to encourage some sort of change or progress forward, to have lasting, solid change in a situation, whether that situation is going to work out for you or not. So this could have a lot of different applications. Again, this is a very wide open general reading for heart of the matter. But whatever situation you are in, that is what I'm reading from this Father of Wands as what the situation is. Interesting. Okay. What is opposing you, right? So this could be the lightning, the what's causing the disruption here, very well could be. Ooh, the moon, cycles is what I heard. Ooh. Whatever you're involved in, there is some sort of cycle going on here, and I'm seeing it with the coiling of the snake as well. But somehow this cycle needs to be disrupted to shift it slightly, to make it different, or to get you on a completely different path. Interesting. The cycle itself has become disruptive. Maybe whatever you're involved in has become too rote, too repetitive, unuseful to you anymore. The value in it has ceased to exist. Maybe at one time you needed this pattern, this structure, this cycle that you have so long built and used, and you are leaning on for stability. Ooh, this could be walls that you've built up around yourself in the form of structures. This could be the way you handle situations in life. Maybe you've had tough situation after tough situation, and you developed some sort of coping mechanism to get you through it, but you've actually healed and grown through it with the help of this staff here, this wand. And the disruption is coming in is because it's time to put an end to that cycle, this repetitive approach to how you are handling this exact type of situation that you're in. So within cycles, this is something that has been repeating and repeating throughout your life. And at one point, there was one way that you needed to handle this situation. And you built a good solid structure that was needed at the time. You've since outgrown that. And so Spirit, the universe, the divine is throwing disruption your way to break up that cycle that you've created so that you can see it for what it is. You can respect it, face it, understand that it had a purpose at some point. But this opposing energy is actually really helping you because it is causing this disruption. The cycle itself is being broken, and that is what's causing the opposition, but the opposition is helping you to break. Very interesting. Okay, let's move on. So what is the root cause? Okay, the root cause here, stability, prosperity, abundance, a comfortable life. Again, with the patterns here, like we saw the patterns and the diamonds on the snake, the structure. You have built a structure and you have protected it with these feathers. In your mind's eye, kind of looks like an eye. In your mind's eye, you have protected this coping mechanism, this approach to life, this structure, this cycle that you have built to handle things. And that, for that cause, for that reason, because you've put so much protection around it because you needed it to survive at one point. Whether that's money, whether it's psychological, whether it's how you deal with other people or the way you respond or react to things in order to keep yourself safe, secure, prosperous, whatever, however that applies to your situation, that is what that cause is here for the cycles to be created, that stability that you have created. And now we have this moon coming in to disrupt the cycle because it's no longer needed. Okay. All right. In the past, Six of Wands. You're definitely moving on here. You've had to yes, okay, I see this. Again, it's all reading in perfectly here that you have had to overcome so many challenges that has really transformed you into this butterfly. And so you have flown above it, yet you can't seem to get out of the tangle of this structure that you have built and protected for so long. And so that is where you're coming from. Again, the moon coming in to disrupt this cycle so that you can spread your wings and fly away from out of this structure that you've built. Your goal, is to put an end to it. I mean, these cards, I love them. That's a little gruesome. Yeah. You're aware of this. This isn't news to you. This is not a surprise. You may have been trying to convince yourself otherwise, like, why is this disruption happen? But deep down, you know. I mean, if you didn't know already, you know. You see it happening. You welcome it. You want it to happen. It's your goal to tear it down, regardless of how uncomfortable it is. But you know it's there. You see it's there. In fact, you've asked Spirit to help you tear it down. And that's why it's coming in with the lightning here to destroy the barriers that you've built that you need help tearing down. You got so good at building up barriers and building a structure to help support you and get you through the tough times. And now you're like, okay, Spirit, I know I don't need this anymore, but I have no idea how to get rid of it or tear it down. And so that is your goal, is to put an end to that. You don't need it anymore. So you either want the situations that you're in where that is still being triggered or enacted here. You want them to either come to an end or to be transformed, to come to the end of that cycle and start a new, different cycle. So this brings me back to here, that sense that I got of not necessarily ending a cycle, like destroying it, like not a destruction like a Tower card, but the transformative power of the snake here. You want it to change. There might be things in your life that you still want to keep around, but you've outgrown a certain challenge in your life, a certain situation, and in order to keep certain things, they have to shift and change. Some things will fall away completely. Other things they'll need to morph into a new, better version of it, a healthier version of it. This could be a relationship. It could be your perspective on finances. This could be your relationship with yourself. This could be your spiritual beliefs or your view on life. There are so many different things here. Again, we did ask Spirit to make it a very general, wide open reading, so you'll know what that is for you. But you know it has to end. So whether that is a transformation, and I'm getting here that if you truly want to keep some things but have them transform and change into a better version, you know that's going to be a little bit more painful in some ways than getting rid of it completely. You know, it really depends on your situation. For some, that might actually not be the case. Cutting something out completely might be more painful. But you know that whatever you go through, this disruption, you know that you have to go through it, as uncomfortable as it may be, right? And you welcome it and you want it because you want to spread your wings and fly. You're done going through this mess and having to deal with this over and over and over again, even though your coping mechanisms were fantastic and did you a great service. You don't want them or need them anymore. You don't want to be in that position anymore. You want to literally just fly away from it or transform it. So that is your goal. Okay, and what is the future? What does the future hold? Oh, beautiful. I love that the future is the Mother of Wands. It's a new cycle. It's a transformed cycle. Wow, that is powerful. Spirit is coming in to disrupt your current cycle because you've outgrown these tough things. You don't need your coping mechanisms anymore, but it needs to be something new. We have another snake here. She is coiled up around eggs, fertile ground, still leaning on that wand, that personal fire. A completely transformed version of you. And look at the pattern on the snake. It's a completely different pattern. A new cycle is emerging within the next month. Beautiful. I love that for you guys. Okay, so let's see what is you in this spread. Ooh, Father of Swords. And the rainbow. I love the rainbow on the sword. You have got some set, solid, strong willpower right now. You are like, bring on that disruption, bring on the change. I will battle whatever I need to battle. I will handle whatever I need to handle. I am clear of mind. I am resolute. I know what I want. That is you in this position here. And you're coming not from a careless, unconfident or overarching like exaggeration of your abilities. This is an owl. You are coming from a strong, solid place of wisdom from everything that you have learned. You are coming from a very solid, very secure, very wise position here. This sword that you wield, this mental sword to battle these challenges, this new challenge of tearing down these old barriers that you don't need anymore and don't want. You're facing it like a pro. You know what you're doing. You're not being haphazard or careless. Sometimes you might feel like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? That's a fleeting feeling. You know, because then the second you sit with yourself, you're like, nope, that's outside influences again. I've got this. And you re-ground and center yourself, your mind is clear. So there's a reminder coming in here too through this message here, is that on the opposite side of that, if there are times, this is a lot to go through. It's pretty big soul growth, life change, however you want to view it, growth. If you are feeling confused or frustrated, this might be external energy. It might also be that you just need to ground and center yourself, because with this Father of Swords, I guarantee you, you know what's what. You trust your intuition. Your mind knows to trust your intuition. So if your heart or your emotions start feeling like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Disruption. I don't know how else to say it. Then your mind knows the second you sit down to meditate or ground and center yourself or separate yourself for 15, 20 minutes, whatever, from everybody else and everything around you, you come back to this centered space of like, what the heck am I thinking? I know what I'm doing. I understand this. I know it's hard, but I've got it. Any battle, things can get tiring and exhausting. So you might need to take breaks where you need it. But very powerful card to have as the card that represents you in this position. It's a very positive reading so far. Okay, so I'm sensing this external influences is not going to necessarily be a pretty card because it is a struggle. We are breaking down old patterns with the help from Spirit, the Divine, to help you break down these very strong walls that you built in order to completely shift and change and transform yourself into a new pattern here. And with the sword here and the Father of Swords, let's see what we have here for external influences. You can't make that up. Did I not say that this external influence here, this lightning bolt, was like the Tower card? Oh my gosh. I just love it when the synchronicities, when spirit works like that. Yeah. But this tower is a good thing. You need it. You want it. You can't have this, your goal, without this. Okay? All right. I don't really think we need to go much further into that. We know what that represents here. You know, there's 2 lightning bolts here because you have asked Spirit to come in and help you with this. You're like, I don't need these coping mechanisms no more. I don't want this. I don't want this old pattern. I want out of it. I've grown past it. Now get me out of it in the physical, but I need help. Okay? And Spirit knows that's what you want. You know that's what you're going through. You understand all that, but you're like, give me some help. So this outside influence coming in is Spirit helping you. And it is a help because you've got 2 lightning bolts here. One is you and one is Spirit. So that is powerful. This is not, it's not being done to you. It's not necessarily just being done for you, like you're out of the picture. No, this is Spirit saying, okay, you want our help. We're going to help you do it. We're going to show you how to ride that bike. We're going to show you how to do that skill. We're going to show you how to do it. They're not going to do it for you. They're literally side by side, walking you through and teaching you and showing you and helping you through the experience of this tower moment, helping you to tear down the barriers, the patterns that you created, that you asked for help to tear down because you got really good at building it up, but you don't know how to destroy it, to transform it into something new. But this is something that is hands-on. You need to do it. This is your life. This is what you have created. Your choices, your patterns. And so it's not something that Spirit can just take away for you, because this is your making, your creating, and you're like, okay, well, I don't want that anymore. I want to shift it. I want to transform it. I want to reshape it. I want a completely new pattern with a fertile new beginning. And so literally, I'm picturing you like pushing out energy that like tears down an entire city worth of walls and buildings and structures around you. Like Spirit is working with you and through you and helping you to tear down those barriers. That's gorgeous. Okay, hopes and fears. So not sure what we're going to have here. We have a lot going on. This is a very big shift, a huge transformation, a life-changing transformation. We have another lightning bolt here with an 8 of Wands. This lightning bolt has a rainbow in it. Does this one have a rainbow in it too? That one's just orange and red. That one's just yellow. This one's got green in it and all those colors. Same as, it's even got a little bit of blue at the bottom. Same as the sword that you're wielding. This sword is your lightning bolt. Working with spirits here. 8 of Wands, usually very fast action, quick, sudden, sharp change, as would be a crack of lightning bolt coming down, striking to the heart of the matter. Oh, I love this. Oh, it's right in the heart, right in the middle of the cycle, the wheel, the pattern. This is thrill. This is thrill. This is interesting. Anticipation and excitement, a thrill of it almost. It's hopes and fears all bottled up and wrapped into one. It's like a new experience, experiencing something for the first time. Coming into your power. I got the weird song. Okay, so, God, do I even know the name of that song? It's very popular, very old. I'm going to age myself here, but Thunderbolts of Lightning, very, very frightening me, Galileo, right? That song. It's sudden. You knew it's coming, but you don't know when. You don't know how. You've asked for it. And it comes down, and it's very frightening, but it's also very thrilling and exciting, and it's an adventure, and it is something new, and it is almost shattering, right? Destroying. We got the tower. We have this disruption here. But at the same time, that strike from that energy, it shifts the pattern. It changes it from the pattern on this snake to the pattern on this snake. And so as you have this energy, this hopes and fears, your emotions fueling this change, it's not exactly a like a roller coaster ride for you. It's more like jumping off a bridge with a bungee cord. You've never done it before. I mean, I've never done it before, so I can't really say, but I can imagine. You planned for it, you want it, you're doing it. The difference is it's like you don't know when you're going to get pushed off the edge, right? And this is all your hopes and fears wrapped into one. It's just a thrill. It's exciting. So if you feel fear at any point, switch your perspective on it, because you know the outcome is fantastic. You know the outcome's great. The future here holds great things, and you know something has to be destroyed in order to transform this energy. So enjoy the ride, basically. Okay, and what is our final outcome? Oh my gosh, I love it. This is such a positive reading, you guys. For so much like destruction and mayhem going on here, it's such a positive reading. Wheel of Fortune, a new cycle. Oh, I love this deck. I was saying, so this lightning comes down in this hopes and the fears, right? This is as you're experiencing this moment where that pattern is shifting and changing, that moment of transformation, which a moment, it could be over the whole month, right? It could be have been building for a very long time. And it's like you're at the culmination here of all of this. You're at the tens. The Wheel of Fortune is a 10, the 10 of swords here. Yeah, you're at the tens, right? In this hopes and fears here. And this lightning, the rainbow lightning coming from your sword and the lightning from Spirit here to help, you are now weaving a whole new tapestry within this new pattern. That is beautiful. I almost, in this position, considering this whole reading, love this Wheel of Fortune here more than I would love to see a Sun card. The Sun is like the best card in the deck, right? But in this position, this is the most beautiful card that you could get for an outcome for this reading. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and take another look here. I do like to take a look at as a whole, all the cards. Again, this version of this spread, you can see why I love it. It always reads this way for me, not this powerful. This is a very powerful message, very cohesive. Everything is gorgeous here. But I love the way that this deck, this Wild Unknown, reads with their version of the Celtic Cross. It's very beautiful. So I just wanted to take a quick look. Let's kind of study it. That's what I want to do here too, in studying the spread also. Let's just kind of take a deeper look at the cards here also and see if we can pull out any additional information. So how many? We have 3 court cards, fire and air energy. We have 3. I love that. Okay, so we have 3 major arcana cards, but typically, you know, the major arcanas can be very much external influences that you don't have control over. But in this case, where we had stated that the Father of Wands, that you have asked for Spirit's help with this situation. So all the external influences is where the Tower cards are, or the Tower cards, the major arcana cards are. So we have the Moon here. That's the opposition, the Spirit's lightning bolt coming in to disrupt that cycle. Again, the Tower, the tearing down of it, the external influences, Spirit helping you with that. The Wheel of Fortune. This is the universe's assistance in your outcome here. It is gorgeous. It is turning your 10 of Swords goal. Oh, okay, I love this. So see how these cards are like across from each other? This is your goal. That's what the universe is giving you. Wow. This is going to be so much better than you can even imagine. I think that's all. I think that was the last bit of the reading that was trying to come through. This, to put an end to this cycle and transform in and of itself, beautiful, powerful, life-changing. You would have been happy with this. You're like, okay, I'm happy with this. Let's bring me back to the aces again and let's start a new cycle. You would have been so happy with that. Grateful just to have that. And you've asked for the assistance from Spirit for that. And they said, okay, we're going to help you, but we're going to help you do it. We're not going to do it for you. We're going to help you do it. And in so doing, in working with the universe on this, you get the freaking Wheel of Fortune instead of just a 10 of Swords ending. That's beautiful. Okay, I've rambled long enough. Thank you so much for being here with me, sitting with me if you've made it this long to the end of the video, to actually study and take time to talk through it and look at the spread and kind of mention and compare differences to other versions of this spread. I am looking forward to doing some more. Not sure which one I'm going to do next, but as things progress, I want to do a couple more simple versions first, but as it progresses, I do have the original version in a book that I have, and I also have a couple other versions that are like drastically different, a lot more cards. So that's where we're going in the future. I want to get our foundation down here, do a couple different variations. Within the next few, probably I'll fit in the original version. Not sure if I'm going to do it next or if I'm going to do 1 or 2 before it, but that's where I'm going with it. Beautiful. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Be blessed.